Okay, it's 6 o'clock. I'll call the meeting of the Olive Branch Planning Commission to order. If we'll have the roll call, please.
Pat Dorr,
Here.
Dion Jones,
Here.
Janice Lewis,
Here.
Mark Wong,
Here.
Diane Singer,
Here.
Donnie Singh,
Here.
Steve Stratton.
Here. And you've received in your packets the minutes of the February 10th, 2026 meeting. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? If not, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Singer to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, we have a second by Mr. Long. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then the minutes have been approved. Okay, under new business, the first item is consideration of an application to amend project text for Trinity Park Plan Development submitted by Tosam Nasser on the behalf of Mohib Nasser, property owner. The 16.21 plus or minus subject property is on PUD Plan Unit Development, is located at the southwest corner of Highway 305 and Church Road East, known as 8961 Church Road. This request is to add medical cannabis as a permitted use within Area 7 of the PUD. And the applicant requests to table this until April 14th, 2026. So I need a motion from the commissioners to table this until April.
I make a motion to table it until April 14th.
We have a motion by Mr. Jones to table this application until the April meeting. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Long. Any other discussion on this? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So this will be tabled now till the April 14th meeting, if any of you are here for that. It'll be here next month. I would like to move on to item number 4, if we could, because that item also has a request to be tabled. It's consideration of an application for a zoning map amendment submitted by Michael Liebel, Allen, and Hoschel on behalf of property owner DeSoto County School District. The request is to rezone 42.5 plus or minus acres from PUD Plan Unit Development to AR Agricultural Residential District. The property owner intends to use the site for a career tech center for the DeSoto County school system. The subject property is located on the east side of Craft Road in the southeast corner of the future expansion of West Sandage Road and Craft Road. And the applicant requests to table this until the April 14th, 2026 meeting. So do I have a motion from the commissioners to table this?
Make a motion to table until
We-
April 14th.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Jones to table this until the April 14th meeting. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Lewis. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion carries, and this will be tabled until the April 14th meeting. Now back to item number 2 on our new business. It's consideration of an application for a revised preliminary plat for Carson Creek submitted by Greg Russell, Civil Source, on behalf of property owner Marion 3, Woolsey Road Group. The request is to create 25 single-family residential lots from 38.6 plus or minus acres. The subject property is on R1 single-family residential district and is located on the east side of Davidson Road, just over 400 feet north of Tranquil Drive. We'll now have the staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, this is a revised preliminary plat application. This is for 38.62 acres, which you noted is vacant. It's currently zoned R1. The zoning will not change. The primary lot size of R1 is 12,500 feet. The square feet, the preliminary plat for Carson Creek that suggested the original 78 lots was originally approved by the Board of Aldermen on October 19th, 2021. This new preliminary plat represents a first step in the subdivision process. If approved, will be followed by submission of construction plans for administrative approval. The subdivision that we are going to be looking at this evening is 25 lots, so from 78 down to a reduced number of 25. This subdivision is proposed to be developed in one single phase. The smallest proposed lot we'll see is 1 acre. The plat does meet both zoning and subdivision regulations. Staff does recommend approval of the preliminary plat subject to multiple conditions. Again, to bring us up where we are, Davison Road runs north and south. You will have exited or turned off of Goodman Road down here where the pointer's at and went due north past Compel Church, all the way up to where you're almost even with the new South Branch subdivision. You'll notice on the map here on the right-hand side, where we're going to be talking about this subject property is surrounded by PUDs, and also to the south, these large 1 acre lots. You'll notice I have noted that on the top already for us to start understanding that there is no regulatory requirement for a buffer between the proposed minimum 1 acre Carson Creek, which we'll see the new plat here in just a moment, single family residential lots, and the rural estate single family lots adjoining the subdivision, because they are like in kind. Here was the 78 lot preliminary plat that was proposed for Carson Creek. Again, we're reducing this plat down. We'll notice some new streets here as I pull up the next slide, as you'll see also in your packets. But we'll notice we're going from 78 to 25 lots. With the 78 lots, they were required in the R1 district to have curb, gutter, and sidewalk. That those would have been along these streets here as you see them outlined. We'll see new streetscape just here in a moment. Also, as I noted, this buffer here, now that we are matching up like kind lots, we will no longer have a buffer that will be represented. Here is the a picture. Again, it's in your packet if you want to see it without the road cross section. I thought the road cross section would be important to understand at this point, because we are going to a rural road cross section that is a 50-foot right of way. You've got 10 foot on each side of that with 20 feet of asphalt, 10 for each driving lane. You'll notice these lots are a lot larger than what we just saw. I'll click back up here so you can get a visual. Here are our 78 lots, and you can see the number of roads and infrastructure. And here are 25 lots, 1 acre lots. Again, streets with the subdivision would be rural street standard, open ditches without curb and gutter and sidewalks. This breaks down to basically less than AR zoning. It's 0.64 dwelling units per acre. AR zoning requires at least 1 acre per lot. This is an overlay I put here. You can see that we've got some detention here on either side. We've also got the road noted here on the preliminary plat. You'll only see the 2 main roads within this subdivision, and then you see the bridge area here, and then the cul-de-sacs on either end of the southern boundary. You'll also notice that the road does come up here and stop. This is for future development. The reason they ran it this way, this ditch that runs along here actually is very full of water at any time of day, and so they felt like whoever developed this piece of property may have some access here with this road, and so they left it where the little triangle lot would be accessible. So I did note about these lots. The smallest one is 1 acre. The largest one you'll see is 1.9 acres. Along the Carson Creek, that's what we've been talking about here, that runs northeastern to southwestern. of the ends of the property. This is a common open space, so it's reserved for stormwater management. And we do have a condition that the developer will need to create a homeowners association and also tweak the CCRs that have been permitted or have been produced to us to a little more zeroing in on Carson Creek and not just so general in nature. And utility lines, we've got water, sewer, and water and sewer within the area. So they're within the general vicinity of the property and the extensions to the proposed lots. It's the responsibility of the developer to extend all utility infrastructure to service each proposed lot in conformity with subdivision development standards of the City of Olive Branch. Our next steps upon recommendation by the Planning Commission of preliminary plat will be presented to the Board of Aldermen. City regulations allow the subdivider, upon approval of the city engineer, to proceed with any required street improvements, stormwater management improvements, construction, and other utilities that would be needed to service the new lots. So after that, we would come in for a final plat. It would need to be approved by you, or recommended by you and approved by the board, recorded before any building permits could be issued for construction on any of the proposed lots. Our staff recommendation, as you can see in front of you, we've got 9 of them. Again, talking about those CCRs, what we want to see is number 5, final plat, just to bring it out. Final plat for the declaration of covenants and conditions restrictions needs to be customized for Carson Creek. The language should include the intent to impose 2,000 square feet minimum house size and design requirements for 2/3 brick or masonry. And we do have noted here on all sides. Uniform mailbox, which I'm under the impression these will be in grouped mailboxes at the front of the development, and the requirements that garage doors will not face the public streets. So you've got 8 of them there that I did not just go through, so if you could read through those, that is the end of staff's presentation.
Thank you. Any questions of staff?
I have a question. I really would rather see sidewalks if possible, even though you're calling this a rural development. There's neighborhoods all around that already have sidewalks.
Yes, sir, understandable with your question there. If we look to the south, and we can look at the names of them here, these are, again, rural road sections. Country Place subdivision does not. Country View subdivision does not. So those 2 would not, and those are the ones that it's butting up against. In the AR zone, they're not required to have sidewalks. The lots are so large that if we were to try to put sidewalks in front of them, it would just be for lack of a better word, a snafu to try to get
When
the sidewalk placed.
The future lot developed south of that, or north of that, excuse me, I would think they're gonna be smaller lots than what we're seeing here, which possibly would have sidewalks as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Any other questions? If not, I'd see Mr. Russell is here. Do you wish to come forward? And you could also address the sidewalk question also.
Greg Russell, Civil Source, 2696 Dawnwood Circle North in South Haven. I really don't have anything to add. It's a revision of a subdivision that those crossings on that creek that is terribly expensive, and the location of the sewer and the water also drove up the development cost. It really made it not feasible to develop in that manner. So by going back and putting these larger lots in, and it decreases a lot of the infrastructure that has to be put in, and it makes it more feasible. Typically, we don't put sidewalks in on those larger lots just because it's always been so difficult I don't know why, but it's difficult to put a sidewalk in with the roadside ditch. There's always a conversation of should it go next to the road and it should go outside the road, and if it's outside the ditch, I mean, if it's outside the ditch, then it's on somebody's property, and so it just has never really worked out. The only weird thing about this development is that, that road that stubs out to that little triangular piece. And I really had a problem with that, and of course, there'll be a temporary turnaround there. It's short enough that the fire truck won't have a problem with that. It's short enough that the fire truck can still back up, so they've looked at that and that they're okay with that. But that little triangular piece would be basically not developable just because of the cost associated with crossing that creek. And so I wanted to provide some kind of access so somebody can develop that. It may not be but one lot, maybe 2 lots. I don't know what somebody has planned for that. But it looks weird, but that's what it's for. And it's such a small piece, and there's so little frontage. The only frontage that's left is on this north side of this property. And so without providing it there, they're really cut off. It would go as probably as common area, and then it would just sit there forever. So, that's all I have. We agree with all the conditions. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions?
Yeah. A couple questions.
Yes, sir.
The smallest lot's 1 acre.
I'm sorry?
The smallest lot's 1 acre, about 1 acre.
Yes.
And, but there's still the requirement to have the garage doors not face the public street.
Yes.
From a design standard, you know, do you have any issues with that?
Not at all.
Okay.
Prefer it, actually.
Okay. And then, the infrastructure cost, or the cost to build on it, since you're going with the larger lots, which is odd, so you know, most people come in
I know,
and ask
right.
for more lots. What's the design intent? I mean, are these gonna be larger houses? Because we're setting a minimum for 2,000 heated square feet. You know, what's the design intent? Is this, and this is probably just for my own.
From the developer standpoint, we're kind of in my opinion, a weird position because the land costs have been driven up so high and the building costs have been driven up so high. But the price of the homes obviously has gone up, but relative to all the other costs, they haven't gone up enough.
Right.
And so there, with the development cost of, well, let's take the old Carson Creek, okay? The development cost in there, just to develop it, were pretty much close to what the lot sales costs were, or what everybody's willing to pay, so to speak, for all the other subdivisions. So there was no profit margin in there for a developer. And again, in my opinion, there's a ceiling there that's coming up that nobody wants to cross as far as lot cross.
Yeah.
And so they are trying, in this case, they're trying to get the development cost down so that they can keep that lot cost below that threshold.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the,
Yeah, 'cause there's gotta be a sweet spot where, you know, honestly, speaking for the city, I'd love to see, you know, $3 million houses put on those lots. I think it'd be a great opportunity.
right.
But obviously you've got the building costs. So it's kind of odd because not a whole lot has changed. Interest rates haven't come down, building costs haven't come down, but you've got these larger lots and somehow we've got to be able to sell them. I'm just trying to figure out if they're just going to be, you know, cookie cutter houses on these big lots, or are we going to really intend to
The
drive up the
developer of
property
this
value?
property is not a builder, so these will be sold.
Okay.
And I don't have any idea who they'd be sold to.
Okay.
So I don't know, I as far as the style and stuff, I don't know.
All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? No more questions? Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Since this is a plat, it's not required for us to have a public hearing, but I would like to open it up to the public if you have any, if you wish to speak in favor or against this application for the plat only. Is there anyone here that wishes to speak in favor or against it? If not, then our public hearing is closed. I will now open it to all commissioners for any comments, discussions, or motions.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, if I may comment on two main things that have been raised. Usually what we have seen is the tendency in the city, yes, is for folks to go from larger lots to smaller lots. We want more density to make development work. At the same time, the reverse is sometimes true. Larger lots in urban areas are high-value commodities. It's like living country life in the city center. And you have water available instead of a well, you have sewer available, public sewer available instead of subsurface sewage disposal. You are close to restaurants that normally you not have in the country. You are close to shopping centers that you will not have in the country areas. And yet, you are living on this large piece of property with trees all around you and quiet, and that's part of the reason. If you really look at this particular site, it's like it dead ends. It's not connected to anything, so you're kind of isolated on your own. And because of that, those lots can be high value. As such, they are really a significant commodity in the city. So 2,000 heated area, maybe the builder, or whoever ends up building these, or the private individuals buy the lots and build themselves, which is often what we see in these kind of developments. Is somebody goes in, buys his own lot, designs his own house, puts up a 3,000 square feet house because they have got a land for it, and it ends up being something good for the city as a whole. With regard to sidewalks, a key reason why sidewalks are not required once we hit minimum 1 acre lot is that the density in those developments is become so small that folks can walk safely on the road itself. So the roads are not very busy. If you take the plan that we are revising, you had 78 lots. That's going to be a busy road. And once you have a busy road with many cars on it, then you need a sidewalk where folks can walk on and be safe. But in this case, they have reduced it to 25 lots, so you're going to have very few cars on that road, and as such, pedestrians should be able to walk on the side of the paved road itself without coming into conflict with existing cars. So that's the main reason why in the zoning code, once you hit that minimum 1 acre lot, for the entire development, not just a few, being 1 acre, it has to be the entire development, minimum 1 acre, then we do not require sidewalks. Sometimes a developer may propose to add a trail. That is something for a developer can freely offer. But in terms of sidewalk requirement, the city does not require that for density, very low density reasons. As a matter of fact, the density in this development is only 0.67 dwelling units per acre, I think. And it's just 0.67. So usually once you hit 1, anything below 1, then we do not require sidewalks. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'll make a motion to approve the revised preliminary plat, subject to recommendations 1 through 9.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the application by Mr. Jones, subject to the staff conditions, items 1 through 9. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second by Mr. Singh. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Then unanimously carried. It has been approved. Item number 3 is consideration of an application for the second revision to lots 12 and 13, Craft Road Industrial Park subdivision, submitted by Mike Davis, the Reeves firm, on behalf of property owner S.M. Lawrence. The request is to combine the existing lots 12 and 13 and create a single lot of 1.38 plus or minus acres. The subject property is zoned C2 Highway Commercial District and is located on the northwest side of Industrial Drive, approximately 840 feet west of Old Craft Road, known as Lot 12 Craft Road Industrial Park, 8211 Industrial Drive. We'll now have staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As we discussed moments ago, before I commence with the presentation for this item, I'd like to let the Commission know that the applicant has clarified some information regarding a gravity sewer relocation request, which we received after staff reports went out. This request has been discussed with the city engineer, and his comments have been incorporated into the staff recommendation. So the staff recommendations, you'll notice, are a little bit different from what you've received in your packets. Without further ado, I'll present the project. So this project is a simple combination of lots, of Lot 12 right here on Industrial Drive and Old Craft Road, 840 feet. Here's Lot 12. Here's Lot 13. Both lots are 0.068 acres, and they front onto Industrial Drive. The proposed new lot right here would be Lot 12A, which would increase the area to a total of 1.382 acres. A little bit of background on this. It is in Craft Road Industrial Park subdivision, which created 19 lots and was recorded on September 29, 1988. Here's Lot 12 and Lot 13. The proposed combination of lots is for an HVAC business and a parking lot. There is an existing building right here, as you can see. The parking lot will be located, the proposed parking lot will be located on Lot 13. The zoning is C2 Highway Commercial with no minimum lot size. Access is from Industrial Drive, which is a local collector road. Electrical, water, and sewer are available in the area. As you can see right here, there is an existing force main along the south side of the property. There's also a gravity main right here, which doglegs here, comes along here. The applicant has requested to remove this leg of the existing gravity main and to tie into this manhole here, and then come here, install another manhole, and then proceed northward and hook up with the existing, install another manhole and hook up with this existing gravity line. So this 8-inch gravity line will be abandoned, this portion right here. So here is the proposed plat that was submitted. As you can see, here's Lot 12, here's Lot 13. There is a 20-foot utility easement right here with a utility easement, a 15-foot utility easement along the north property line right here. The next steps would be, upon recommendation by the Planning Commission, the plat will be forwarded to the Mayor and Board of Aldermen for consideration. Any building permits, before any building permits would be issued, it would have to be recorded. So the staff recommendation, the staff does recommend approval of the final plat for Craft Road Industrial Park Subdivision, second revision to lots 12 and 13, subject to the following conditions. As I stated before, these three items 1 through 3 are the comments from the city engineer, with items 4, 5, 6, and 7 also applicable. That concludes staff presentation.
Thank you. Any questions of staff? No questions. Do we have someone here to represent the application?
Mike Davis with the Reeves Firm, 6800 Poplar Avenue in Memphis. I don't have anything to add. This is a pretty simple request to allow this existing company to expand. About it.
Any questions? No questions. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Since this is a final plat, we do not require a public hearing, so at this time, I'll just turn it over to the commissioners for any discussions or motions that they wish to have.
I make a motion to approve with the revised suggestions from staff 1 through 7.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Jones to approve the application subject to all the staff conditions 1 through 7. Do we have a second? Second. We have a second by Mr. Long, I had the wrong one, Mr. Stratton. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the motion is carried. Application is approved. Thank you. And we're now here for other business, which is a zoning ordinance updates.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Both of them, both of them, both of them, both of them go down. Both of them go down. Both of them, both of them, both together. Yeah, everybody gets two sets, two sets.
Oh, do you have?
Oh,
No, we're gonna be here forever.
Saul's gonna blame me, aren't you?
We're gonna be here a while.
I'm about to be Pontius Pilate here and wash my hands of this one. So, I received an email from the Vice Chairman, Planning Commissioner Jones, here. So these two handouts, let me call them handouts that you have, are proposals that he emailed to me. I quickly went through a number of them. Some of the policy, the concepts, the ideas that you have in here are contained already, either very explicitly or implicitly in the work that we have been doing right up to this point. You remember this big book. Other ideas are new, they are novel. So the first proposal, the first document also that you have, the one that has City of Olive Branch Planning Commission workshop discussion, zoning ordinance, strategic proposals. That one, 4 pages, it's generic. The second focuses just on Old Town. So the second focuses on Old Town. Suggested changes to C5 Old Town District. These, I've gone through these about 3 times. As I said, some of them are incorporated already, some of the ideas are incorporated already in what we've been doing, others are new. My proposal or recommendation would be for planning commissioners to take this. This is deep, this is sound planning. To be frank, there are a lot of sound planning ideas in here. Some of them, we have to look at contextual applicability. Right? If I am in downtown Atlanta, it's going to work. In Old Town Olive Branch, will it work?
Yeah.
So we have to look at the ideas here that are sound, based on sound planning principles. But you have to look at them in terms of context and work our code, because we don't want to write a code that is not effective in terms of you cannot apply it. So I would say I give an example, proposal number 1. We had split the agricultural residential district into the rural estate and the AR, agricultural residential. But then we had the agricultural district. We did not create a rural reservation conservation district. Some of the ideas here are in the agricultural and in the rural estate district, some of the ideas here. do we want to set aside a very specific district that handles just these conservation ideas, put it up to that 30% of trees and so on? Do we want to do that? And one of the things that we always want to take into consideration is, okay, where in the city of Olive Branch is an example where you can fit this in? In that way, you're not just thinking of in the sky, you're working with reality on the ground to see how your regulations are going to work. So the highway corridor overlay, I've told the idea of having an overlay district in this city multiple times. I am pro overlay districts. It requires some additional work to know how to apply them because they are not base districts, and I can discuss this at our next meeting. But an overlay district just kind of lies, just as overlay, lies over an underlying district, adds some other regulations to what an underlying district normally would have in order to achieve some very specific intent. And not all properties may come under, I'll give you an example. If you say property along Goodman Road within 200 feet, any property that lies within 200 feet of Goodman Road on either side falls within the highway corridor overlay district. Now, that corridor may be your C2, your highway corridor district. There may be properties that fall within the highway corridor district, but they lie outside the 200 feet. Because they lie outside the 200 feet, they will not come under the overlay requirements. The overlay may have very specific sign regulations because you're trying to create a gateway. You know, you say, no, your signs can only be maybe up to 6 feet high. They must be brick, they must be designed this way because you want to create a particular character along that corridor. Another piece of property may be still within the same C2 zoning district, but because it doesn't lie within that 200 feet, it will not come under those overlay requirements. So that's the way overlay districts kind of work. You have to identify particular areas in the city that you want to apply them to. Industrial residential buffer standards. These buffer standards will very much come into play when we're doing the Unified Land Development Code itself, in which we are opening up other areas of the zoning ordinance. The buffer, the landscaping requirements, for example. The mixed use is a very nice idea here. I'm sorry, I'm jumping over my head myself. I already describing it as very nice. The mixed use neighborhood center district. We had conceptualized most often our mixed use developments are proposed as PUDs. And so there's even the question, should we designate some particular spots where you can have some small scale mixed use? I'll give you an example. Our big plots, 40 acres and above, now is going to be the Dove Landing, for example, Worth Hospitality, 40 acres and above. Oak Park Town Center, it's almost 70 acres. 302 and Hacks, South East Corner. So these are large PUDs, they are mixed use. Is it a case when you take that kind of a scale of a mixed use and you compare it with the one that Planning Commissioner Donald Singh has out Oak Ridge, 3 acres, there is no way the standards can be the same. So can we create areas where you have smaller scale mixed use, neighborhood mixed use concepts that are usually very fitting for small towns? Olive Branch is really not a small town, 15,000, 20,000, 10,000. At the same time, we are not 200,000, 300,000 city. We're kind of right there in the middle. And so we have to be able to create something that fits us, so to speak. There are areas, for example, along Church Road where this concept can very much fit in. That's something to look at and be able to see where we bring in. The others are standards, for example, proposal number 5, that has to do with apartments. So when we get there, when we get there, those are some of the standards that we can incorporate into the text. Because this is intense. You know, this is.
You're welcome.
We need to give more time to it. My proposal would be that planning commissioners take this home, go through it, and at our next meeting, you will have this with areas highlighted in yellow and in green. The green will be where these ideas are already incorporated. The yellow areas will be where the ideas are not incorporated yet, but we can fit them in. If we, from a planning staff perspective, we're like, should we do this or should we not? We will not put it in. We'll let you discuss it. If you say we should put it in, then we'll put it in and bring it back to you at your next meeting. I think that is the way we need to move forward with this. And then Old Town, the C5 district, that's your next handout. Let me use the word handout. It's I would say go through this and read this, picture Old Town, walk in Old Town, and really ask yourself, okay, is this going to work? This is not going to work. This is going to work. This is not going to work. A lot of these ideas here, 98%, will be very applicable in a traditional downtown. For some of these ideas to fit in squarely with our Old Town, we will need to take a caterpillar and bring down a lot of stuff and start them up fresh. So sometimes in writing quotes, we have to think about adaptability. How do we adapt to the reality that we have on the ground? At the same time, we have to look at, if we want to go forward with what already exists, how do we want it to look like? How does the city want it to look like? So those are some of the ideas that will be brought in. Probably before your next meeting, especially this one on Old Town, we're going to have the Old Town meeting this month, Old Town design review meeting this month, to just kind of go through these ideas and have their own proposals that we can incorporate into the text and then bring it over to you. I will also have the 3-person working group, Board of Alderman working group, go through some of these ideas after your meeting next month. And from there, the plan is to bring the text before you for a recommendation to the Board of Alderman at your meeting in June, no later than July. That's the goal. And after July, we should start spreading our maps in front here and getting down to real serious stuff of 2 hours. And I'm really serious. After July, I don't think we'll have a planning commission meeting that will be less than 2 hours. It just will not happen. We need to get down and really, once we start dealing with the maps themselves, we get to go from each parcel to the next parcel and come up with justifications as to why we're changing and not changing things. In the state of Mississippi, you cannot just change the zoning of a property without meeting the rezoning criteria. We really have to ask ourselves serious questions as far as those parcels are concerned. So from August in particular, I do think that each of our meetings will be at least 2 hours, with 1 hour working session. So if we have rezonings that are controversial and they go on for 3 hours, then we should add 2 hours on top of that for 5 hours. All right. Mr. Chairman, that concludes staff's input. Thank you. Any question?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I just came through the apartment portion, and this is probably a lot more than the conversation, but
Go ahead, ask away.
that one project that we had right behind Kroger, it was like 110 units or something like that.
Yeah,
That one checked all these boxes,
I know.
and it was still not.
We will, the difference between what is being proposed here and what is being proposed here could have possibly led to the approval of that. What is being proposed here allows the city to create, you can say, new R4 zoning districts, multi-family designated areas that say if you come in and want to build an apartment in Olive Branch and you meet all these standards, then you can say you are 90% good to go. The other elements that may come into play, the Board of Alderman will have to look into that. They may say, yeah, you can check all those boxes, but we still want you to come before the Board of Alderman for A, B, C, or D reasons. If, for example, if you are joined single-family residential or you're selling distance of single-family residential, you still have to come before the Board of Alderman for A or B reasons. That one involved a rezoning, and once you're in the world of rezoning and planned unit development, things are, I don't want to say political, but political in this sense is not a bad word. Yeah. Zoning is political. There's nothing wrong with that. It's policy making, and policy making it's a political process. So that had to check all the boxes with regard to rezoning criteria, and the board determined that it did not check all those boxes with respect to the rezoning criteria. But if the property was already rezoned for multifamily development and he met all these standards, then he would not have been going through a rezoning process. The rezoning criteria would not have been applicable. They would have been able to move forward. Except the board comes up with some other thing that.
And there's a lot, sometimes, we do a lot with PUDs. It's sort of like, we're open, but you gotta come and ask permission, instead of from a strategic perspective, where we sit down and say, all right, this is where we want that type of whatever, this is where we want it. And it's almost easier to bring people in if you've already got that zoning set up. And so, that was my thought for most of these.
Think, for example, in the Sandwich area, the Parkland area, going towards Ross Road over there, where you have some of this land that is close to the industrial parks. Where is our housing, the workforce? Where is it going to be? And sometimes you can put in the development standards in a way that you have, even in Collier. Collier is one of the strictest cities around here. It may take you a year to get a building permit for an accessory building. But you go there, you have apartments. Germantown, you have apartments. The question is, where do you locate them? What are the standards? And how are you going to make sure that they don't become a liability to the city down the line? So those are usually three key things that you're dealing with. Just saying no apartments is not the way to go. In fact, legally, you may have some serious questions there. So identifying the right pieces of properties, that's why I say when it comes down, if we can adopt this and put in the books, in the zoning code, the text itself, then go down to the map and say, okay, this is where we think this should go. It's a bigger animal. And that's why we'll have to take a lot of time and make sure that whatever we're doing will not be a problem for the city of Olive Branch in the future. It will actually align with character of areas and will be okay.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Let me restate this to understand this. You wish for us to study this, and then in the April meeting, we will discuss both of them
Yes, sir.
into the
So we've got homework
homework.
to read
Yeah.
this. And then at the April meeting, you will have this. So please bring your these two sheets. If you have any comments you want to write on it, that's for one of the reasons we printed them just one-sided. If you want to make comments on the back that you want us to discuss at the meeting, that will be okay. When your agenda, when we're sending out a packet to you for your April meeting, you will have this with some of the ideas incorporated, highlighted, where they already fit in to facilitate our discussion. Where we think that there are question marks, where we can really focus on the discussion, we will point that out in whatever memo that we send to you.
It's good. Anyone else have any questions? You know, it's been kind of exciting. I moved to Olive Branch in 1983. I know, James, you've been here a lot longer than I was, but to watch Olive Branch grow and develop the way it has, and I know the growth is going to continue more so in the future than it has in the past. So looking at things like this is very important. So we're looking at our grandchildren is what we're looking at. I hope my grandchildren will come back and live in Olive Branch. So anyway.
And just to clarify, in between tonight and when we meet again, the Old Town Design Review Committee will also look at this Old Town section
Yes, ma'am.
and study it.
Yes, ma'am. So even if there is no agenda, private sector application for the next Old Town Committee meeting, there will be a staff-initiated agenda item, which will be this. So there will be the Old Town Committee meeting this March.
And so anything that any questions they have, comments they make, will be brought into
The April
our
meeting.
meeting here in May.
Yes, ma'am.
Dean, thank you for doing this. Thank you.
Anyone else? If not, I guess we'll entertain a motion to adjourn since the train is coming through the town. through the
Make a
city.
motion to adjourn.
I have a motion by Mr. Jones to adjourn. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second by Ms. Singer. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are now adjourned. So.
But we did like a tree preservation.